like crazy. All right. Welcome back to the BMC, the rep and me. Actually, there is no the, it's BMC, the rep and me. I still mess it up every time I say it, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Today we have Amanda from Mississippi State. If you can't read that on her shirt there, repping it. Love it. Yes, yes. Awesome. Full disclosure before we get to the intro, this is our second time doing this. So I do make mistakes. Amanda, thank you so much for taking time just to come back again.
Yeah.
It's always good. We were just talking. uh, We could have recorded a lot of our conversation before we jumped on this, and I think it would have been valuable information. So,
Yeah.
I know that we will get to some good stuff for the students, anyways. Before we get
Yeah.
into Mississippi State and information about the school itself, tell us a bit about yourself. How long you've been in admissions? How long you've been at State? And
Yep.
any fun little facts you want to talk about.
Yeah. So, hey guys, I'm Amanda Burns. I'm our regional assistant director for the East Coast of the country. Obviously, I live in Greenville and recruit North and South Carolina for Mississippi State. So, if you're seeing this in the Carolinas, you give me a little shout. I'm happy to help all the time. And so I've been with State for 3 years. I have been in higher ed for 17 years. So I've been doing this for a long time, worked for two other schools in South Carolina. This is my first D1. So I'm very excited about that opportunity to get kids a couple states over and enjoy the whole cowbell experience. So, yeah, I love it. Love working with students, definitely a passion of mine. We were just talking about going back to school and master's degrees and things like that. And so that's what my master's degree is in higher ed. So, yeah, any questions about literally any school, I could probably help you, but particularly Mississippi State. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you say that. I think there's been a shift in admissions, especially from the reps perspective, where I feel like
Hmm.
10 years ago, if I came in and I was asking about Mississippi State and I wanted to study aquarium, or I don't mean like or whatever,
Aqua
and you
science or
didn't
something. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
didn't have it.
Right.
Back then the reps would say, "Well, I'd love to get you in this," and they would shift you to something that you don't even want to do, but it fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas like now you're like, "Man, we don't have that, but
But yes.
this
Yeah.
school would be a great fit for you."
Yeah, yeah. No, we definitely I mean, I think I want you to and we're gonna talk about probably this and stuff, but I want you to go where you're happy. Um, Again, we talked about transferring and things like that. I've done that twice and kind of through that process. It's not always easy, it's not always fun. Think about your credits and kind of where they go and stuff like that at that point. But if we don't have a program, I want to help you get to the place that does. And whether they're the right fit for you or not, at least you know they have it. Or maybe it never occurred to you. And that happens a lot with us. We get sent students all the time for animal dairy science and vet school because there's only 33 vet colleges in the entire country, and we're one of those. So thinking about like programs that maybe thrive better at one place versus another, I want you to go talk to them too. That might be a better fit for you just based on location or finances. But if it's us, I'm happy to like work with you that way. And no, we definitely don't say like, no, we don't have it and just end the conversation like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to help you find somebody that can help you.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
The whole time you were saying that, I was in the back of my head saying I said aquarium instead of like marine science. I'm like, look at an
We
idiot.
have that too, but yes, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of South Carolina options in that as well. So, no, the one that we usually, and this is so we get asked about a lot of us on the road get asked about like mortuary sciences. Not a super popular one, but there's always that one or two kids. And so the one that I send the majority of them to is Piedmont Tech. They have a fantastic program in mortuary science that, again, 2-year program. And I don't think people put that together. That a 2-year community college would be the best fit for like that program. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I appreciate that. I mean, whether you're on campus or whether you're at
yeah.
one of the events that we do or those kind of things, I'm
Hmm.
I feel way more comfortable these days than I did in the past of
Yeah.
students coming up and asking questions and coming back saying, I want to be blah blah blah. I'm like, well, that wasn't even what you were talking about before. Well, yeah, so and so at so and so college said this would
Right.
be. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know.
Yeah.
now I know I didn't think about this school, but so and so was like, Amanda at Mississippi State said this school would be a great fit. I'm like,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Amanda.
You're
So
welcome.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and I think it takes a lot of stress,
Yeah.
and anxiety, if you will, of like, oh
Yes.
my God, we're going to this event. What are they going to tell these students? Now
Right.
I'm like trusting it, and I'm
Right.
excited because they're going to come back. And I didn't
Yeah.
think about this. Or
Yeah.
the other side of it, which is where I toot my own horn, like, oh, Mr. Childress, they said the same thing you said. I'm like, right, because you're smart and I'm smart and we know it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we get told this a lot too. The student may walk away and the parent comes over and says, "So we've been saying the same thing now,
Yes.
but
Yes.
that you said it makes a huge difference." And I'm like, "You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad that I could
Absolutely.
back you up and be like, we're on the same page and this is what they need to do." So,
Right. Right.
yeah. Yeah.
As dad, I say it multiple times, as well as Mr. Childress, the school counselor. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm hearing it from the other side. I'm like, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can
You're
see
like,
that as
"I
well.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do this for a living, guys." Like,
I
yeah.
tell my son all the time, I'm like, what does dad do at work all day long? Like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
I have these conversations all day long, but
Right.
I know I'm dad. I'm not the cool school counselor at your school. I'm not the
Right.
cool school counselor either, but I'm like,
No.
like your school counselor is way more cool than I am and a lot younger, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'd
Yeah.
say you're the pretty cool school counselor, but that's maybe I'm a little biased, so that's fine. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better about myself.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Yeah. You're welcome.
Well, since we kind of started the major conversation,
Sure.
Mississippi State is a large school, which we'll get into numbers here in a little bit,
Mhm.
but let's talk a bit about your majors. I mean, you've got a ton of majors, and I know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
If there's 3 to 5 that you're like, here are our top majors,
Yeah.
that students want to or come, wanna study. I can't speak today, that's okay. And then maybe, here's a new major or one of the
Mhm.
majors that people don't realize we do have, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, what we're sought out for that most people know about us is our College of Engineering. We have every form of engineering. And I say this probably inappropriate show for maybe high school, but like my husband and I watched Landman. And we were talking about petroleum engineering and we just caught up on anyway, so like everything. So mechanical, aerospace, those are probably our most popular two. Biomedicals kind of come in a lot here at the end, but from petroleum, chemical, computer science is considered part of our engineering program. So that those majors, I think there's 13 different programs within the College of Engineering that also include a master's and a PhD, which is a great product that we're going to put out for you to be able to have basically guaranteed job employment, when you're done. So Bagley, that's what we call that one. Theology, we were just talking about, we just finished a new building on campus. The Duff Center, which is our kinesiology building, is gorgeous. That's going to include everything from sports management, which is massively popular. We're a D1 athletic school. Sorry, Alma, trying to get rid of whatever is coming, like, for
Oh,
the season. So,
the time of the year.
yeah, gosh. So that kinesiology major, sports management, which will include then, like, PE and physical education, very important for our school systems. Just keep those programs kind of going and thriving. And then our College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, so our CALS, is probably my favorite just because I love
Yeah.
that we have the vet school. And we do a program for that one called EEP. So it's early entry program that seniors in high school, after you've been admitted to Mississippi State as a student, if you're interested in majoring in ADS, agriculture, marine life sciences, aquaculture, wildlife studies, forestry, any of our forestry or CALS majors can apply to EEP. And so um, we're going to save that seat for you for vet school, is what that means. After you've been admitted as an EEP student, and usually you find out, my students are going to find out in a couple of like a month, which is really, I'm like nervous for them, but excited. And so 2 years ago, I had 6 students accepted into EEP. Last year, I had 4. and 3 of those 4 are now at state. Like, that was what made their decision was we saved them a seat in vet school. So,
Yeah.
there's less than 33, or right at about 33. One of those, is gonna be accredited soon, and so they're gonna come into the pipeline, and we'll welcome them with open arms because, I think it's harder to get into anything else than vet school, which is kinda crazy, but also good because I have a pet. So I need good vets, guys. We don't
Right.
want crappy vets out there. So we saved that program for them, and that's when basically you have to keep a certain GPA, obviously through 3 or 4 years. We recommend 4, and then you just start vet school like that. Um, so those are the top probably 3. The one that's kind of and psychology is always, I usually get asked about psych always every I'll just blanket this. Every school you ask, you guys, when you're looking at schools, everyone has psychology. I promise you. Everyone has business or business administration. We do have an entrepreneurship major that is coming out in fall of 26, which is very exciting. And then within that college of business, one that I get asked about because we're in the Carolinas is that PGM golf management major. You do have to have an 8 handicap to get in, but again, job security when you graduate. So we talked about this, I think, the first video that we have a state grad who works
Yeah.
at our country club, is a PGM golf management major. And he is not from here. He was from somewhere, I think, on the West Coast, went to school, and is now over at our club. So you can go anywhere with that degree. It's very versatile and a lot of fun. And you get like really nice PGA swag.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
golf bags, golf clubs, golf gear, and we have our own golf course. So also within that CALS that I think about, if you're an FFA student, usually we meet over the summer at FFA convention in Greenville, or you'll meet our CALS folks in Chicago or Indy when they do the national convention. And so like think about turf management, agronomy, very popular. We've been voted the best turf in the SEC. So come and check out our grass. Like whoever thought you'd say something like that,
Right.
as
Right.
well as our dairy science program. So we have our own dairy farm, fully milking Jersey cows. I call them Chick-fil-A and chocolate milk cows because I don't actually know what type of cows they are. But you can work out there too. And so that, like I said, so business, psych, everybody has that. And then kind of the one, um, I wish more students like understood data science, mostly
Mm.
because we were talking about you loving sports. And we have a sports analytics major. So if you were interested in being on ESPN or ACC Network or SEC, whatever, um, that's a job. Like you can work for that, do the analytics, go to the game, like all of that stuff. And I only have 2, I think, so far this fall that have like expressed some serious interest in that. But I mean, as a freshman coming in, you get to work with our D1 teams, and we're very excited about baseball. We got to tour the dude last week when I was on campus, like all of it, like behind the scenes, locker rooms, like press rooms. Then we got to walk out on the field. We have a housing, one of our residence halls, like is attached to the baseball stadium. Um, so you can live there and like grill out and watch games like
That's the game.
from your porch. Like what? That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
is it like
Sure.
sure. It may cost a little to live there, but it's so nice. So when the bananas and the party animals came to campus, like it was just raucous.
Um,
But that's how that major like can tie into sports as well, if that's kind of a passion that you have, but you don't play. So
sure.
yeah,
Sure. Well,
yeah.
even with that, more and more of your professional teams are
Hmm.
now using analytics. And so they
Yes.
have a team together
Yes.
running that data science and running
Exactly.
the numbers and looking at that.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, that is taken the world by storm and
Yeah.
sense of analyzing and understanding certain things.
Yeah.
So it's a growing field that is not going anywhere.
No. Oh my gosh, no. And I say this, you can intern with ESPN. So one of the things that I will do in the spring is we'll do a send off, kind of a congratulatory get together for students from both North and South Carolina. And we do it I think it'll be in March this year, but the alums home that we hosted at, she works for ESPN college football. That's her job. So, like, she went to state, like, majored in, I think her major was even like communications, because I don't think we had the data science at that point. And so now it's grown, the need has kind of grown so much that now we have a whole college for it. And that's what they do. So, I mean, I thought I was cool. And then I met Megan and she's way cooler and that's whatever. And,
Yeah.
we're both in the same sorority. And that's about as the level as we go right there. Is then she talks about her ESPN job. And I'm like, cool, I'm just going to stand over here and let Megan talk about, I mean, she knows Kirk Herbstreit and Peter. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Trump card. Boom. Drop the
Yeah,
mic.
exactly. I was like,
I
I'm just
got
gonna
you.
let
Yeah.
you, like, run the room, Megan. You do you. Like, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. 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 I know her. I'm friends. I'm
I
friends
know
with her.
her.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
sorority
Yeah.
sisters. Like, hey guys, did I that so
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, you said Jersey cows. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Jersey cows. That's awesome. Um, love it, love it, love any connection that I can find to Jersey.
Yeah.
The one thing I have to ask, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna uh, call out any other schools,
Sure.
or do any comparison. Although I have been to a certain school in the state of Pennsylvania that has their own creamery.
Yeah.
Um, would one expect something similar?
So it's amazing that you bring that up. No, so within our, because we have the dairy farm, which is a massive, within different majors, it kind of crosses over between business, ag, and other things. But we produce and make our own milk, cheese, butter, and ice cream. So we have, I think, consistently 8 flavors, a lot, and then we have 3 that are seasonal. There's one in particular, I don't really like it. But so I stick with the butter pecan, the vanilla, the chocolate chip, like that stuff. So when you come to campus for a visit, for like a preview day or a large campus event, we do let you try our ice cream for free. You get to taste that. But that is what is in the majority of our main dining halls. So our cows are providing all of those things for your breakfast, lunches, and dinners. We also ship our cheese worldwide. We have a large military population of
Yeah,
dependents and veterans on our campus. And so, with that, depending on where mom or dad or grandparent is currently living or serving or things like that, we will ship that cheese all over the world to bases and things like that for families. But they ask it, they love it. I mean, the cheese is, and this is where it's sad. I don't eat cheese, so I will
oh my
never know
goodness.
that, but they love it and they do really well with it. They're little red. They look like cannonballs. They're about so big and they're red wrapped in wax and they get shipped everywhere. But the ice cream is fantastic. So, yeah.
When we jump offline, I might have to find out how to order some of that cheese. I have to try that as well.
Yeah, the cheese
Uh,
shop. Yeah.
oh
You can't
yeah,
miss it. They kind of redecorated a little bit. So now there's a little, we'll say, better signage when you're coming uh down the street past the football stadium. It's right
yeah,
there. So
yeah.
yeah. But
I
they
love it.
they they show it to you so you can buy more cheese or ice cream or butter
Oh,
on your
sure.
way
Oh,
home. Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah.
I, I mean, you got me an ice cream and cheese. I mean, we could live off that, so which is
Yeah.
great.
Oh yeah. The kids love the students love the ice cream when I tell them that at fairs and stuff. They're like, do I
Ooh,
get to like
yeah.
eat that? I'm like, oh yeah, you get to eat the ice cream.
Oh,
Yeah.
so outside of majors, a lot of
Yeah.
students when they're looking to attend a school or visit a school, they're looking at the area. Um,
Hmm.
Actually, before I go there,
Yeah.
a little bit about some internship opportunities.
Okay.
So you talk about ESPN and some of those things. So if you've
Hmm.
got aerospace engineering,
Hmm.
obviously, you've got PGA stuff going on. I mean, you're
Hmm.
touching so many different areas. Where are
Hmm.
students interning? Like, what kind of connections, co-op opportunities? What does that look
Yeah.
like?
Yeah. So it's funny, we just talked about this week and last week too. So with the co-ops, some of them are paid co-ops, which is a great opportunity for students to kind of, we'll say, double dip, right? So you're getting the experience, but you're also getting paid for it. That's going to be a lot in the College of Business. Most of those, whether you find that on campus or off campus in like Starkville or Columbus or New Albany, those are areas where you can go, or over the summer or study abroad. So there's different opportunities over the summer for a 6-week period that you may study abroad over in Germany or Scotland or something like that. That may be a paid internship that you're doing with a company. Um, or you're going to, I mean, speaking of just the aerospace opportunities, whether that's Texas or Florida, are you going to intern with NASA? Is that an opportunity that we have available for you to do at that time? Those are going to change just depending on the season or kind of like what's going on in our world, kind of in the moment in our country. Lots of different ways to do that. We're also a top tier research university. So freshmen coming in that already know. I have a student who's a pre-med biochem major coming in the fall, and she's already asked about how do I work with, I work at an autism center where I live. I want to keep doing that and research driven where I go. Great. We have that opportunity for you. As a freshman coming in, you can intern and work. So again, a student worker position and get paid to work in our access program, which works with autistic students. So you still get the volunteering opportunity plus the work and the research all kind of wrapped into one. Faculty love that. They're encouraged, obviously, as with their education to keep researching and publishing and things like that. Well, they need help. They can't do it by themselves. And so freshman, sophomore coming in, if that's something that you're passionate about, like it's really more at that point. I just don't want the student to hold back because they're nervous. I want you to be like, no, so and so, like I'm interested and I want to do XYZ. Will you take me on or what do I need to do to help you? And so it's more about them speaking up and saying, I want to do this. Within the aerospace, we've got planes and drones in our aviation center. So you can take those out. So research that way. We're going to, wherever there's, I say we're kind of prime for two different types of weather patterns. So I think about our geoscience major and meteorology program, whether that's with the National Weather Service or you're going to work as a broadcast meteorologist. Fun fact, 1 in 3 on air meteorologists graduated from Mississippi State. So,
Wow.
yeah. And we got to see that last week. We were on campus as well. Um, so I have a bunch of students, like some have their own podcasts already, some have a YouTube channel that they're producing and like putting out the weather. So it's very exciting to see what their passion is and how they can grow that with us. But with
Yeah.
those planes and drones between the aviate or the aerospace or environmental engineering, and then you've got those geoscience majors, just let them go. They'll go to Oklahoma, they'll go to north of Mississippi or the Gulf Coast if there's a hurricane, just to see what the weather patterns look like, what's the environment, what's happened to the, you know, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like shifts in weather patterns and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how the programs will cross, but the internship. So like again, National Weather Service, you can do an internship with them, and we apparently have quite a few students who've been hired by the National Weather Service after. So it's an exciting major. All of them are exciting depending on what you want to do with it post, right? So um, internships, absolutely. D1 sports, when we can talk about internships within our athletic department, they will take on freshmen and sophomores coming in who are like, I want to help with football. I did this in high school. How do I do this in college? Absolutely. I have another student who wants to do sports broadcasting as a major. And we have a current admissions counselor who's Ohio based. She's a regional there, but she as a student for 3 years, got paid in our athletics department to like play all the walkout music at every baseball game. That was her job, was like all of the music or electronics at baseball games. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
She got to do
Yeah.
that. Like, what? Okay. Like, how do I do
Sign me up.
that? I want to do that
Yeah.
now.
Please. Please. Yeah.
Um,
I know.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that was something like that again, like she wasn't afraid to just ask, how do I get involved and how do I do this? And so I'd say our faculty are very open and available to helping you get to where you need to be. So yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of faculty,
Yeah.
so let's talk a little bit about numbers.
Okay.
Student body, that's a big number.
Yeah.
I already know that.
Yeah.
So your student body, how many are on campus?
Yeah.
Um, you know, are there as freshmen, you have to live on campus, rules around that?
Right.
And then what's that student faculty ratio number? What does that look
Okay.
like?
Yeah, so student population overall is about 24,000 students. We're in the smaller of the SECs. When you look at all of us, we're not that 40, 50, 60,000 students. Starkville is a town, is kind of how we say it. It is in a, we'll say, rural community. The town itself, we make up most of what Starkville is going to, be, but the buy-in, like the restaurants, the bulldog statues, the Hale State everything. I mean, it is so tight knit and so loved. It's so you can tell the difference, like when I go to campus in the summer versus when I was just there and students are, you know, book down, like face down in
Yeah.
books, like
Yeah.
studying like crazy people, like your students are doing right now. I mean, it's so different and it's so much more it's fun. It's just a fun place. So it is a small city with an SEC vibe. The Cavals and the baseball and stuff like that. So 24,000 students. Student to faculty ratio is still 17-1 though.
That's awesome.
Which is insane. Like I went to a school that was less than I finished at a school that was less than 10,000 and that was 16-1. So that's saying something
Yeah.
about what we offer, how we offer it, the availability again of our faculty. 43% of our classes have less than 20 students in them.
Wow.
Especially when you're getting into your upper levels, when you think about the engineering classes, they told us this during a session last week. I mean, there's probably less than a 15. I mean, it is very small, very like focused on you.
Sure.
Our building construction science and our college of architecture, again, very hands-on, very small classes, mostly because also we don't want you to get hurt while you're building things in your class. So, um, 33% of that 24,000 live on campus. The freshmen are required to live on campus their first year. So our freshman class was a little over 4,000 students. They all live on campus. We have 16 different residence halls to choose from. Two of them are honors college. One is an all female. The rest are all co-ed. Some may have upperclassmen living in them just based on how we filled them up. But the majority are going to be freshmen who are living in your residence halls on campus. Have Greek life housing, so fraternities and sorority housing in two different places. You'll see those on campus. They're gorgeous. And so that's another way to live on campus as an upperclassman if you like. Otherwise, we were just talking about like rent, kind of apartments for rent in Starkville. Like, what does that look like? I know how much it is to rent an apartment in Greenville and
Right.
probably need a roommate. You could live alone. Like one of the other counselors was like, it's $750 to like rent an apartment in Starkville. I'm like, hold the
Wow.
phone. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
made me very jealous of my apartment days living in Greenville. The difference. But yeah, so whether that's renting a house, a historic home in like the Cotton District or in downtown Starkville, or apartments just right off of the highway, kind of right there by where campus is, or living on campus, lots of different opportunities to do that. Freshmen are allowed to bring a car their first year. They can bring one with them, which is not always the case in a D1 size school as well. So we love that for them. But there's also tons of buses and public kind of transit that will get you around to where you need to be on campus as well. Lots of walking, saw lots of scooters while we were on campus last week. So those you just kind of got to watch out for because you don't know which.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, walkability is also, I mean, we walked from Montgomery Hall, which is where you would do your campus tour, over to the Dude, which is the baseball stadium. Super easy. I mean, walkability is everything is on campus with the exception of the dairy farm, which is an 8-minute drive, and the College of Vet Med, which is across the street. Like it's a red light, you walk across the street and there it is. So everything is right there. There's talk of a bridge, pedestrian bridge. It's going to be built where there are some apartments kind of right across where you see the welcome signs for Mississippi State. So that's kind of nice. That would be a welcome addition, just for parents and game days and stuff like that. But yeah, you can't miss the stadiums. They're kind of all right there, which is a lot of fun. I love that we like have them right where tailgating is going to happen and like all the different games and stuff like that. So yeah, we did that answer
No, that's
all the
perfect.
questions?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was
Yeah.
like trying to remember what the other like stuff was.
And
So yeah,
well,
yeah.
and I try not to ask 15 questions, but some of them, some of them like do connect together, and it's like, while you're talking about that, talk about this as well.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's funny. I always tell students when you go visit,
Yeah.
ask for a local spot to go eat. And
Mm,
so you see, and so you kind of talked
yeah,
about that as well. Like
yeah,
when you walk into that restaurant, whatever it is, sandwich shop, do you
yeah,
see this cool stuff there?
yeah, yeah,
Like that will tell you what kind of environment it is.
yeah.
Are they school friendly? Do they support students and the local
Mhm,
teams and those kind of things? I think it
mhm.
makes your experience at the school way more enjoyable when
Yeah.
you have that environment.
Yeah, no, there's the first place I think they took me to when I started was called Bulldog Burger. And I was like, "Oh, cute. Okay." But they like stamp the buns with like a bulldog. I mean, the buy-in to what we're doing as a university in the town, um, I mean, there's so much love there. And they just get excited. The people in the store or the restaurants wanna know where you're from. "Is this your first time to campus?" "Have you done this in town?" Or when you shop, I always tell my students when they're going to, like, s girls versus guys, like, where to go get your things based on, like, your love. Like, are you into the camo or do you want a cute, like, outfit for game day? Like, what are we looking for? And they do, they'll ask you, like, "Where are y'all from?" And, "How long are you here for? What are you gonna study?" And so everybody's so nice. And just the names of the stores. You have Maroon and Co. I mean, everything is maroon. So it's, there the buy-in and the love is a genuine, like authentic, we're stoked to have you here type
Nice,
vibe. So
nice,
yeah, yeah.
love it, love it,
And the
love it. That's
food's
awesome. Yeah,
so good. Like
is
I
it?
haven't had anything bad yet. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, it makes your experience, and even
Mhm,
for parents, when you're thinking about like sending their kids, for us, it's a couple hours away. So we're sending our kids a couple states away, a couple hours away.
mhm.
It makes everybody feel a little more comfortable knowing that there's such a loving, welcoming environment where our students are going to be taken care of,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah, I got to see, I mean, I didn't know the students were I didn't know finals were gonna happen when we were there last week, and, I mean, you're not supposed to have, like, favorite kids or whatever, but, like, one of my favorites from, Asheville, Hendersonville, but Asheville, I texted and was said, like, "Are you still here right now?" And he came running up to, like, where we were, and we, like, big hugs and
Yeah.
took a selfie, sent it to his mom, and I said, "Well, how was going home for Thanksgiving?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't go home." So what did you do? He said, "Oh, I stayed in Starkville with my fraternity brothers, and we 30 of us had Thanksgiving in our fraternity house."
Wow. Wow.
Like,
Okay.
how was that? And he said, "It was amazing." He was like, he said, "Had I not met you," which of course is like so nice to hear, but like I would have never known these experiences existed. I mean, he's wearing the sweatshirt, he's got the hat. I mean, the whole And I said, it just makes me so happy. I want that for all of my students, no matter where they go. But when they find it and it's that good, you just get so excited for them. So I told him he has to go home for Christmas because his mom would come find me
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah. 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 There are lines that you draw in the sand
Yeah.
on that
Yeah,
one for
exactly.
sure.
It's like, you can't miss another holiday. You got to go.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, kudos to him and his fraternity brothers for thinking about it. Like let's just,
Hmm.
and I'm sure it's shorter holiday. They've got
Yeah.
stuff going on. Let's just spend this together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what a neat experience for
Yeah.
all of him, but especially for him
Hmm.
for his first time being at school.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
He said it was a lot of out of state kids that just didn't want to, they were happy to be there and they just wanted to hang
Yeah,
out. I was like, "Ugh,
yeah,
I love that." Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of out of state,
Yeah.
a lot of our students, when they're looking at picking schools and they're looking
Hmm.
at out of states, there's the dollar bills stuff that kind
Yeah.
of comes into play where they're thinking
Yeah.
about the expenses and
Mhm.
how much they have to pay and all of that. Talk a bit about tuition, the housing piece of it, the
Mhm.
overall bill, if you will,
Mhm.
and with that, scholarship opportunities to help
Sure.
students cut the costs.
Yeah. So it's gonna change from year to year. I think this year we're sitting at right around 40,000 full fee paying. That's what the bottom dollar is. So that's including everything: housing, meal plan, books, tuition, fees for an out of state student. Now, this is where we start to like Right. So what do we take away from that? So our out of state merit scholarship. So this is based on your weighted GPA right through 11th grade, and no test score. We don't require them for any of our programs except for architecture and engineering. Those two do require a test score. Um, and then we can talk about honors college and kind of stuff like that if we get down the road. But so that 40, if you're at a 3.3 weighted, that's where scholarships start. And that's 12,000, no test score. That'll go from 3.3 to a 3.6 to a 4.10. So the majority of students that I actually work with are going to be that 3.6 or higher or the 4.1 or higher. Those amounts are $16,000 and $19,000. You get to keep those for all 4 years, as long as you maintain a 3.0 GPA.
Okay.
Keeping in mind that college work versus high school work, a little different.
Sure.
Everybody thinks,
Sure.
oh, that's no problem. You'd be surprised.
Right.
But easily maintainable if you go into it knowing you're going to have to put in a little extra effort. So that 19, then you take that off. And then test scores, if you have a 31 or a 1390 or higher, those amounts will increase. So your 19,000 with a 4.10 weighted could go to 24.
Wow.
Again, 24,000 is going to be renewable over all 4 years. So now 24 from 40, now you're sitting at 16, just an out of state everything, which is more like being an in-state student at that point. If you're thinking about cost of attendance and what that looks like, comparable to maybe what options you have in the Carolinas if you were going to stay
Sure.
home in South
Sure.
Carolina. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I would even argue below, I mean,
Hmm. Yeah.
certain schools, that just,
Yeah.
and everybody knows in the Carolinas, there's certain schools that give money and certain schools that don't.
Don't.
And
Yeah.
so, if you're anywhere in that, I was running the numbers while you were looking at it as well, which you had those facts pretty quick, which it's not like you do this quite often. But I mean, you're just right there, you're under.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so comparative, um, which is awesome.
Yeah. I did wanted to look up just so that I could kind of keep things straight too. But like when it comes to the scholarship, so that's just the merit. Then there's also ones that you can apply for that you will get a text from me saying, hey, don't forget to. So our general scholarship application, you're going to fill that out every year. Freshman, sophomore, you do that every year because there's going to be freshman level and then upperclassmen scholarships. Then there's also your academic college that you're in. So if you're an ag major, you're going to fill out the College of Ag and Life Sciences or Bagley College of Engineering or McCool College of Business, whatever that may be. There's scholarships for those students as well. And then we offer some more, we'll say, competitive programs or scholarships, and those are going to be by invitation only. So the last time we did this interview, I was getting
Yeah.
ready to sign up for a week of scholarship interviews,
Yep.
which was a lot. But I have students, so if they meet the GP requirement and test score requirement, they get an invitation to interview with me for that. If they make it to the next round, basically at the end of, I think, 3 processes, they could be named a presidential scholar. And that is here or there a full ride. And when I say it's competitive, I think there's more than 800 students who start. Last year we picked 45. Yeah.
Okay.
And so then there's that. Then there's also our national merit semifinalist and then national merit finalist. Those are, of course, I think the if you're named a semifinalist, it's a $12,000 scholarship on top of what you're getting for merit. And then if you're named a national finalist and list us as your first choice, that again, I think is very close to a full ride, if not more. So lots of opportunities. We'll also stack. So if you're an athlete coming in, we'll stack with your academic, as well as just outside scholarships and sponsorships that I wish more students would like kind of think more about. I mean, I think about students, we have a Chick-fil-A in Starkville and we have a Kroger, and students who like worked for those here or in North Carolina brought their jobs with them.
Yeah.
They transferred basically. And
Yep.
so it's a great opportunity. Parents' jobs, sometimes I think about like Michelin, there are scholarships that students apply for through there, BMW. banks offer scholarships, and so it's like, just apply, you'd
Yep.
never know.
Yep.
That 500 or 1,000 or $2,000 freshman year could go towards housing or books or a meal plan that you maybe didn't consider. Housing rates differ. I think our least expensive one ranges around, we'll say 8,000 all the way up to 16,000. And that's, the Cadillac, if you will, or the Mercedes of our housing.
Sure. Sure.
That's we do have the Azalea, which just opened. It opened this fall in 25 for our students, filled like no problem, and it's individual pod style living. So they get their own room, which also unheard of to have residence hall that has individual rooms for students to live in. But it's beautiful and it has a great sight line of the stadium. So there and the chapel right there. So it's gorgeous. Um, but then there's also, I mean, FAFSA, Pell Grants, different types of scholarships and loans that way. I know loans is like a bad word and nobody likes to talk about it, but I mean, I did and I
Yeah.
turned out okay with my opportunities. And then the one that I think we talked about last time as well is our military scholarship, our veterans scholarships. Dependent of someone active duty or retired. If you have that DD 214 that you can submit, that basically gets you in-state tuition regardless. It's an $18,132 scholarship that you get to keep for all 4 years, um, having someone who is a dependent of. We also have ROTC scholarships for Army and Air Force, which is a great opportunity for students as well. We're the largest group in Mississippi. So we have a lot of those students on campus, which is great. Usually have two or three that are going to do National Guard after graduation and then come to school. And that's also an opportunity for some scholarships with military services that way. And you can still enroll. They'll usually go to basic over the summer is somewhere really hot and sweaty, and then they start, August, like,
Yeah.
17th. They're right around when they move in and classes start the next day, but, it's a great opportunity for them as well, so, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
No, it's nice to hear the different opportunities for scholarships,
Mhm,
and from the merit side of things, it's not so difficult to reach the
mhm.
standards, I think makes it very obtainable for a lot of our students.
Yeah,
I'm constantly sending out, uh, like, I jump on these email chains or I'm on Instagram and I'm seeing things and I'm sending it out, where there's
yeah,
so many scholarships outside of schools. What I tell students all the time, it's like a part-time job. You gotta put time in order to get money out,
yeah,
right?
yep, right.
You know, and when you're talking about student loans, we talk about ROI, right? So return on
Yes,
investment.
yes,
And if I have to take out a $10,000 loan for 4 years, that's $40,000, and I'm gonna study philosophy. Well,
yeah,
am I gonna have a good return on my investment,
right,
or am I
right,
gonna be an aerospace engineer that
yes,
I'm gonna come out making twice that
yes.
as a starting salary?
Yes.
Then
And
it's
job
worth.
security, like, thinking about
Right.
the programs that you are sought
Right.
out. I mean, I think even we haven't talked about, like, a college of education at all. We're in a nursing and an education shortage across the country. You probably aren't even getting to 3rd year and you're getting job offers. I mean, it's a done deal. And so you just think about and I'm not saying choose your major based on, like, what we need as a state, country, or anything like that. Choose your passion. Please do what you love to do. But there are certain ones that you will pick that you will have a job offers, multiple, before you
Yep.
graduate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Here again, if you got to take out a loan for a certain amount of
Yeah.
money, then
Yeah.
knowing that you're going to have something that's going to be sustainable and as well as you could depend on it, it
Mhm.
makes a difference.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I had a train, I lost it. You know how quickly when you jump off that, and we go down the rabbit hole very 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 quickly on that end of it.
Yeah.
Looking at the application.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah, that.
application as a whole. Yeah, yeah, there is that piece too, right?
Right?
You do have to apply to get in, right?
Yes, yes.
Talk about the application,
Okay.
some key factors to the application, and if you can, like, here's some things that we look at, or some key things that I've seen some students not do well at that could do well at it, and it makes a difference if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So our application goes live on August 1st of your senior year. So right now we're working with kind of spring semester and finishing that up. And so August 1, we call it Hail State at 8, which is 8 Central Time. So it's really Hail State at 9 Eastern Standard Time. Does not have nice a ring to it like Hail State at 8 does. So I just say that, but then like, side note, it's really 9. I will be on my computer, like looking at apps as they come in, answering texts. Like I usually get quite a few that are like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I just submitted it. Like this is where we're at. Um, Timing for submitting your application is your housing, where you fit in housing when it comes to the application and getting your preference. So keep that in mind. If we're a top choice for you, go ahead and do that at on Hale State at 8 on August 1st. And so that way, then you get your kind of first pick of housing, if you will. Um, and by when I say submitting, you don't have to pay at that point. You don't have to submit your transcript at that point. It is just the application online. Literally takes 5 to 10 minutes. Super easy to do, submit. If you are thinking about doing it on Common App, keep this in mind, and I don't know if this will be the same moving forward, but it was this year. We didn't get those Common App applications for almost 2 weeks. Um, Common App has a slight delay in when they usually start, when they turn on, I guess, for the fall of that senior year. And so it's so much easier to just do it on our website, or any institution, any school will probably tell you this. It's easier to just do it on your school's website. We get it faster. It's through, it's done. Like we can see it. Common App, a little slightly different situation. Just in the beginning of August, it's like that. Um, our application fee, I think it increased. I think it's $60, but we do accept the SAT, ACT fee waiver form that you can get from your school counselor to submit that to us. That waives your application fee. And then you can upload onto your application portal an unofficial high school transcript for us to review. It doesn't have to come through Parchment or Naviance or any of those. If you have it and can take a picture of it and submit it, great. If we have a question about it, trust me, our processing office will tell you like we have a question. But most of the time it's fine, and that's for homeschool students or high school students. Either way, we will work with those applications. Test scores, like I said earlier, there are only 2 majors that require the test score. You are more than welcome to submit any test score. There is no harm in submitting a test score. It doesn't count against you if you don't meet the 31 or 1390. That is more for our merit scholarships. For architecture, engineering, and the honors college, they do require a particular test score, and those are on our website. I don't have those like verbatim off the top of my head, but they're all usually above a 3.5 weighted of some kind. And so with a test score and the GPA, you may be eligible for an auto admit into the Shackles Honors College. Yes, Shackles is the name of the honors college. Sometimes people think it's a different college altogether. It is Shackles Honors College. Um, and so that's an auto admit. They'll start making those decisions usually in September. And so you'll get an email saying you've been automatically admitted. Now, if you don't meet the requirements for honors college, when you apply, you can still apply to the honors college, and they review those applications on a case by case basis. If you ask me, I will tell you honestly, like, hey man, I have this test score and this GPA. Should I apply? Absolutely. Like, please do. I'll even send a message to George or Noah and say, I met so and so and I think they'd be a great fit. If you tell me what your test scores and GPA are, I will also say, like, maybe not this year. Wait until sophomore year to like see what your GPA looks like after starting school. Or depending on your major, I may say yes, because they don't have a lot of those and they would probably love to have a philosophy or religious
Right.
or whatever major. So yeah. Um, we are test optional and no essay. We don't require an essay until you get into the scholarship interview range, um, or anything like that. So we don't you are more than welcome to submit it. I still read them. I like to know what you got. I mean, you took the time to write it, so I like to read them and see what they say. Um, but it's not a requirement. It is literally your transcript and your test scores if you want to, and then that weighted GPA. Um, and we're rolling, so we take students all the way through the spring semester. And so, for whatever reason, if you apply in March or April, yes, you can still go through that process. Scholarships may be a little different at that point because it's later in the spring semester. But absolutely, you can still apply. I've had students who very last minute change their mind in like May or June, and all of a sudden they're coming through the portal, and I'm like, okay, like let's talk. Like, what do we need to
Yeah.
do? And let's wrap this up because
No.
then by the time June comes around, we're in orientation and we've got some decisions to make at that point. We've got to really go.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward process. We understand that everyone loves Common App because it's easy to just check a box and add another school, to the list and then hit submit. Just understand if you do that in August, it's a different, slightly different process until Common App starts to flow a little bit more, and they have their processes. But yeah, August 1st, the app goes live. We sent out our first round of decisions. Less than 20 days after that was through within 2 to 3 weeks, we had decisions
Wow.
going out. Yeah, we want you to know. We want you to be able to come visit then after you've been accepted, or I see you at a college fair in September and you're like, "Hey, Amanda, I applied to you and I'm coming," and I got admitted, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's amazing." Like, we love that. And so I get excited with you. Um, as Troy will tell you, I may even come to your school based on the fact that we met and then you applied and now you've been accepted. And so then I give you and things like that, and I get really excited about coming, um, because I wanna make it a big deal. I mean, being admitted to college is huge, so yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no matter what the college, 2, 4-year, trade, I don't care, so
Right.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, you made a decision, and you have a plan after high school, which is so key because so
huge.
many people do not. And so
Yeah.
absolutely they should be celebrated. And I appreciate that. Yeah, you did a
Yeah,
good job for our student that got in. And I know you made
yeah,
her day as well. So
yeah,
it's fun.
we
It's
love her.
exciting to watch. It is exciting to celebrate them as well,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. For sure. I appreciate the tidbit about Common App. We're not paid by Common App. I'm not a paid advertiser. They're not
yeah.
sponsoring this video. No, I'm just kidding. But well, you're on YouTube. We're not
Yeah,
sponsored by,
exactly. Exactly.
but a lot of us encourage students because it's easier in the process when when you're applying to multiple
Sure.
schools.
Yeah.
But that's good information to know because usually in the beginning, if you're getting that August 1st, you only have 2 or 3 that you're trying to get by that date.
Mhm.
There's one school in state here, or there are actually 2 schools in state that do the same thing that you guys do as far as, your housing is attached to when you submit your
Yes.
application.
Right.
And so it's good to know that.
Yeah.
I think that helps on all levels of understanding, like, okay,
Sure.
do this one. And that's why I tell students sometimes, like, maybe this is a good one to I haven't said about Mississippi State because I didn't know that, but now I
Yeah.
do.
No, you're good.
But this might be a good one to apply if you're
Yeah.
doing the August 1st, and then you could do the other 7 through the
Sure.
Common App and
Sure.
make it easier to write in.
Yeah. Yeah. And there'll be some, and that's why, I mean, for me, um, and my territory and kind of like we talked about how long I've been doing this, I genuinely care. Like if you're having a problem while we're doing the application, especially on the opening night, that's why I sit in my computer and like answer questions, or students will I'll say text me. Like I don't mind at all if you or reach out and reply that night and stuff. And yeah, I mean, we kind of keep it going from 9 till about 10:30, 11, and then it's like, okay, now I gotta like shut the laptop. I gotta go to bed. But I wanna make sure that I don't want that to be the first step that's stressful. That should be the exciting, like, I'm jazzed, let's go, like, college, senior year, like, I'm gonna find out, kinda where I'm going, and so we want it to be as easy as possible.
Absolutely.
Smooth. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. We More and more reps are following suit, but you're definitely one of the more attentive ones. Our students have commented about that. Of like, I text her, she
Mhm.
texts me back. Oh my gosh, you know, which
Yeah.
is great. But
Yeah.
that's what you want. Which is
Yeah.
exciting.
No, I mean, and I will say again, we talked about kind of at the beginning, like counselors being more open to helping other students, even if it's not something that they offer. Um, I want to be the person where this is why we're hired, right? Is to be the point of contact for our school. So, yes, I mean, if you send me a text, it's me you're texting. I'm happy. Sometimes it's a parent's phone number and they say, oh, this is so and so. We put our phone number into the app instead of the kids. And I'm like, well, can I have the kid's phone number? Because I want them to know that like we're here, we're available. Don't be scared to talk to us at a college fair. I mean, that is why we're there. I'm like the least intimidating person ever.
Absolutely.
Uh, so
Yes.
please, I'm just as excited that you're coming to talk to me about my school as you are, USC Columbia or whoever. So um, don't be nervous. That's why we're there. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
really us. It's not like chat, whatever, GPT or whatever. That's like, it's me.
Yeah.
So,
Correct. Real
yeah.
person. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Amanda, this has been great. To be honest, we went 10 minutes over our last one.
Did
Oh,
we really?
yes. I told you the second one's better. No,
Oh my god.
good. It's good. I really appreciate
Yeah.
just some insight. I think these are jewels. It gives us a really clear picture of Mississippi State and what they have to offer. There's so much more that we could have covered and we could talk about, which is kind of like, why you should go visit, right? So,
Yeah.
hey, here's an inside look.
Yeah.
Come see
Exactly.
the school. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is awesome. So, I hope that you have an amazing holiday season.
Thanks. You
Yes, yes.
too. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
We're all ready for the break. Even the
Uh,
students. I think we're all
oh,
ready
yeah.
for, yeah, quiet.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. This will probably be released over break. I've got a handful of them that I'm gonna start sending out, so they'll get that, and we're looking forward to March 2nd.
Very
Uh,
excited. Can't
yeah,
wait. Like super jazzed. Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All
Yeah.
right, Amanda, I appreciate you coming out today.
No problem.